would be funny. We're gonna go with that's the answer since you don't remember the answer.
Yeah.
So there we go.
If it really wasn't, what difference would it make? It's still funny.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, we are live.
Hey, we're live.
We're live.
Hello.
So that means
Hello, live.
That means we got to do this because it's time once again for everyone's favorite internet radio interruption.
Insert title here.
The show that changes interruptions so frequently, we put a placeholder in.
And hey, Sparky!
And did I say interruption? That's because our favorite interruption is back.
Yes!
Brian has returned to the show. So I have gotten so used to getting through all my content, we're going to have to make tonight's show a 5-hour show so I can get through the hour and a half of material I came with. So,
That's right. That's right. You know what? Because this is not a monologue.
This is not a monologue.
This is not a monologue. No monologues allowed. Or whatever.
I do try to model my show after a late night talk show without guests. That is...
Yeah. Since often there are no guests.
Yeah, I would like to be the David Letterman of Twitch if they wanted one.
Have you been watching the Stephen Colbert this past year?
Yes, and I still haven't watched the last closet-based show. I watched the second to last one, so don't tell me how it ends. But
I haven't watched the last one yet either.
But tonight's the first live.
The first back to live audience.
Back to live audience.
To me, the thing that I'll miss, no, I'm not going to miss it, is that you would get this cackle in the background.
No, I loved it.
His wife's cackle.
I loved the way he did that show. He did the show exactly like I would do the show.
Well, see, and that's the way I look at it. Why do I need to listen to Colbert? This is what we do. He's in our space.
Well, I two reasons. One, inspiration, and two, show ideas. That's why I watch it.
I think you're right, Spocker. I'm going to catch up on the interruptions.
Sparky Toaster going, Brian's good. No, that's. Let's not let Sparky give you any ideas now.
It was a great idea.
Sparky's not our ideas man. He's our viewer. But that was a horrible idea. Hilarious. Hilarious, but awful.
Hey, Sparky, I'll send you the link so you can join the show. And then you can say it.
Yeah, you could do that, couldn't you? Sparky points out that he's our only viewer. That's why we can't send him the link, because then we'd have no viewers. All hosts.
Right.
Which is, I've done shows like that. Our show is kind of like a Zoom meeting that people could tune into but don't. I think that's the new show tagline right there.
Right.
And speaking of Zoom, I have to. I have the help desk dilemma of the week here, which has come up with the most brilliant idea that Help Desk has ever had in since the creation of Help Desk. Sparky Toast running in a Zoom meeting with no pants. I'm quite thrilled. I have shorts again.
All right.
I was down to my last pair of shorts, which means that yes, I stand in front of the washer in a pair of tidy whities waiting for my shorts to be. No, I put on.
You need to do that at the laundromat, right?
Yes, they don't like it when I do that.
And people are just kind of look at you like, not again.
I got trouble from the laundromat, and they came up to me and said, "We don't like the tidy whities," and I said, I could take them off, and then they left me alone with my washing machine and my shorts that were going through. But yesterday morning, I wake up, I go and I grab the shorts off the floor because I wear them for like 4 or 5 days before I throw them in the wash since they're my last pair. And I put them on, and I have two types. I will wear two types of shorts: those with the elastic waistband and those with the drawstring. Because who can stick to one size for a lifetime, really? And who needs to buy new shorts every time their waist changes? So
how many pairs do you actually have?
Well, right now I have one pair of shorts that came via Amazon today. Now when it comes to, now I'm talking about short. Now I have plenty of tidy whities. I do not wear tidy whities for more than a day. Okay,
I was not even going there.
Sparky Toaster pointing out Johnny wears Fruit of the Loops. I have seen that video, and I will never be the same. Thank you, Sparky. Yeah. Now here's the thing. I buy whichever tidy whities are on sale. So I have cycled between Hanes and Fruit of the Looms back and forth. So I'm down to my last few pairs when you see a pair of Hanes peeking out, because that's what I bought before.
Now, do you like the tagless or do you prefer the tag?
Tagless.
See, I like the tagged. Number one,
you like irritations.
Hang on.
That's why you do this show.
Irritated, you're just too soft, buddy. No, the reason why I like the tagged is that I keep them so long that the imprinted tagless tag is all worn off. So you go, which is inside out? Fuck.
Well, that's easy. Which side has the brown on it?
No, we watch a little harder than that. Switch to Tide, man. Don't keep using that cheap shit.
No, I'm happy to say my tidy whiteys have never been whiter, and that's because I bought a new washing machine that doesn't have a leaky drip problem with the bleach dispenser. So I could once again start using bleach without ruining I
like Sparky's comment there. He's probably right.
Can you even buy tags anymore? I thought the tag lady lost her job. I didn't even think that was an option. I thought once.
I think he's right. I think he's right.
Yeah, we were given the option of tag versus tagless, and we all decided there's no choice needed here.
Okay, so here's what I do. As the tagless fades.
And speaking of interruptions.
Yeah, speaking of interruptions. I'll get back to that in a second. Holy crap, I'm live on the air. I am the interrupted, and now I just got interrupted by a phone call.
This is great because he didn't mute. Does he know he didn't mute?
So if you want to get in on the mayhem.
We might be getting another interruption here soon. Well, while you do that, let's see if I get a Twitch ad. Because we do need to put our banner ad up.
All right.
That help those that promote us.
So we'll talk to you soon so they will have something to talk about.
Oh, no.
All right. We'll see you.
Somebody interrupted the interrupter. That's thank you, Sparky. And now we'll find out. So who is that?
We might have a visitor.
Oh, we might.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I just invited him to
well,
hang in there, and it'll be not just Sparky.
Anyways, before we get too far down this tangent, let's go back to Help Desk, because I think I've stumbled onto a great idea. It sounds...
I didn't finish my my tag issue.
Okay, so you lose the tags wear out.
So I get a new pair of undies,
right?
And I mean the tag's not even wearing off yet, right? So I take a Sharpie, a thick Sharpie, and I mark a black spot on the waistband on the inside. And that happens to be more permanent than the imprinted tag.
Okay.
And you want to make sure that it's hard enough so that it's a good solid dark, right? but not so hard that it bleeds through the other side, because then you've defeated the whole thing.
Because then it's the same on both sides, which defeats the whole purpose.
Yeah.
Can't you tell by which way the flap is opening?
When I get up, I haven't had my coffee yet.
Yeah.
So it's like, that is way too complicated.
You'll figure that out by the time the first piss of the day comes around and you can't get it
Yeah,
out.
right. I mean, do once in a while, take a shirt like this. Let's see, is the big image...
Mm-hmm.
Try to stand up a little. The big image on the front, or is the big image on the back?
Because sometimes
there's a little tiny, there's a little tiny image thing that's the front. That's the front side, if there is one.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, but then again, sometimes I don't see that image thing because it's complicated. Oh. So I put on the shirt backwards. I says, "Wow, this shirt feels really weird."
Yeah.
And then you kind of go, let's see, what is the record number, of minutes or hours or whatever of wearing the shirt backwards? Not that I've timed it, but I suspect that it's about 15 minutes at this point, but I could be wrong.
Okay. But anyways, that brings us back to getting dressed in the morning can be complicated and can be hard. And so Sunday, I woke up and I was down to my last pair of shorts, which are of the drawstring variety. And I go to pull the drawstring tight so that I could try to not show off my Fruit of Looms as much as I did past videos and, try to help other people not fall victim the same way Sparky did. And I go and pull the drawstring real tight and it came off. And I broke the drawstring. From years of pulling the drawstring, it had started to wear in a spot, and it just right off, and snuck. And so I tried to snake it out to have enough to tie because it was longer than it needed to be. Unfortunately, there was not enough to pull it out, and I couldn't pull it through from the slack from the other side because it was sewn in place in the back, so that it would always be even.
Yeah.
And so that is why I went to Amazon.
And it wouldn't just accidentally pull the whole thing out. You want it to be sewn in there.
No, you can't pull it out because it is sewn in place, and I could not break that thread or threads or whatever was. So I gave up and put the sweats on and found a pair of shorts that look comfy with elastic waistband that had next day delivery from Amazon. So these showed up today. I have shorts again, and I was like, if I like these, I might buy another 3 or 4 pair. So I'm testing these out. And I got another variety of shorts that are showing up either tomorrow or Wednesday. I think they're showing up Wednesday. And so between the two of those, we'll see what I'll order more of.
So you're not going to repair?
No, they're done. That string broke.
It's just the cord that's bad. You replace the cord.
But I can't even get the cord out to thread in a new cord, and it's
what a wuss!
They're old shorts. They've served their purpose. I think I've had these shorts since May.
So what you do is you replace the cord with something real strong like paracord.
I can't get another cord through it. The cord's sewed in place, which means that there's a seam in the back that you can't fish another cord through.
You're a wuss.
I'm done with this conversation. Let's talk about the help desk.
All right. Back to the help desk. That's
the help desk. And speaking of help desks, we've got Squib Steve on the line. Hello.
Ho-ho!
Who may or may not have sound.
Hello, Squib Steve.
Oh, there is sound.
Yes.
And those are some nice headphones.
Maybe he wasn't receiving sound because he didn't have his headphones on.
But those are some killer headphones there.
Killer.
I could not. Yeah. These are AKG 240s. I don't know. I don't know when they last sold them. Do they still sell them?
I've not kept up with AKG's model of headphones, but as far as I know, they still are quite a respectable.
And they sell microphones. I have a Bruiser.
The salesman told me not to buy them.
And yet you bought them. Now that's a quality salesman right there.
See, he was using he was using the reverse psychology. Don't buy these, and then there's a long line that goes out the building.
It didn't matter though. I was going to buy them anyway. I had already figured that out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, they sell themselves.
So these are my Bluetooth headphones for the phone, and they're like these AKGs in terms of sound quality and all of that, but they're Bluetooth.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, and active noise reduction.
Cool. That's always handy, especially on airplane or if.
And so, what's that nifty handle type of thing behind you against the wall?
Well, that is that's a DIY. DIY, approximately DIY 2000.
DIY 2000.
So do it yourself, right? And I probably made it around the year 2000. So on the front here, you really can't see it that well. All right, so I don't know if I can get far enough away from this with the headphones. No, I'm gonna have to go off the air.
Okay, all right. Well, we're going cordless now. But that's okay. I think he's also in front of a green screen, so that's.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Cool.
I've got I loaned out my.
Okay, so the head goes in there.
Your own personal pillar.
And then you lean over, and then you cut the string, and the blade comes down, and it's a guillotine.
Personal guillotine.
Yeah, right. So
I was thinking of something a little bit more user friendly, that is a personal stocks. So you just got something to put your hands in and
go out trapped to the town square and
throw tomatoes at you.
Yeah.
So this up here, you get to mount a pair of binoculars here.
Okay.
Do I have a pair? No, I don't have a pair here.
All right.
So they bolt on here on a binocular mount, and you can do this with them, right? Go higher or lower, and you can move the whole thing, of course, up and down. And Sky and Telescope said that you could go up and look up with binoculars comfortably 70 degrees up. So you're looking at the Sky and Telescope. And then in the back is just a 2x6 as a counterbalance, but also it's stabilization. So you're not jiggling very fast because you've got this big moment arm back there.
So
unless, of course, you do a who's the janitor in Harry Potter that is carrying a ladder and he's turning around and all the kids have to duck?
Yeah, Filch.
Filch, yeah, right. So what you need is a string of LED lights so people can see it because you're going to be in the dark, right?
LED lights string is what you suggested. He had the headphones off when he said that, so that's why I'm repeating.
Right. Yeah. I could turn on the speakers; they actually work.
Cool. Now, Brian, you've not really. We kind of just jumped in here. Brian, why don't you introduce your guest here?
Okay, so this is Squib Steve. He's a real jokester. Hey, Steve, throw us a joke.
My favorite joke at the moment is I told my psychiatrist that I was hearing voices. He said, "Steve, you don't have a psychiatrist."
No, that was good. That was.
I like that joke. I like that joke.
That was a good one. Now, Sparky Toaster ready again. Sparky Toaster ready again. He will not be walking through any doorways with that thing on. And Sparky Toaster is, I guess, getting ready to throw the tomatoes at the Boo hiss.
Yeah,
but
right.
Aw, some people just don't appreciate a good joke. You were starting to say though, Brian.
So my favorite joke is a music joke, and this is where you're talking about musicians and playing, and you say, "Oh, well, if you want to play better, stay tuned."
That is very
true. That is not my joke file. That's unusual.
Well, my favorite musical joke is more of a thinker and probably way too long for the payoff. But here we go. Group of girls are talking about dating musicians because right.
That's what girls do for whatever reason, even though their fathers say don't.
So they're like gossiping, like, I got a date. I got a date tonight with a trombone player. He's probably gonna be a really good kisser. Playing the trombone. With the lip practice. So she goes on this date with the trombone player, comes back, all her friends are like, how was it? How was the kiss? It's like, oh, it was awful. He had those big fat lips. I mean, I thought he was going to suck my face off. It was, it's like, okay, I'm going to try a trumpet player next time. So she goes on a date with the trumpet player the next day. So the date, how was the kiss? Oh, it was awful. It was tiny lips, really tight. No. So she decided she would try dating a French horn player. Goes out on a date with the French horn player. Comes back from the date. All her friends are like, how was the kiss? How was the kiss? It was okay, but I love the way he held me.
I like that.
So in just to get Steve up to date, Johnny majored in music.
Music,
and you have to pick an instrument, and they picked the French horn.
Of course.
So we have to ask Johnny, so how did that actually work out in reality for you?
I don't think I had throughout middle school, high school, and college, when I played the French horn, I don't think I had a single date. So not good. I think the drum line was getting the dates. I don't think the brass players do very well. But
I've completely forgotten. But all three of us have done some sort of horn, and I played the trombone.
Oh, nice.
And I can.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that.
And I do know with certainty that I did not get any dates whatsoever while I was playing the trombone. I was in 6th grade, and I only did it for about 3 months. So,
no, not much luck with the band. I gotta tell you though, I was trying because I would do the marching band, we go to the football games, and it was hard to blend in with the flag twirlers because they wore the red dresses and I was in the navy blue marching band uniform, so I stood right out when I was trying to pick up the flag twirlers, and the band leader would be right over.
About that at all.
Yeah,
actually, the band uniform, was that just blue or did you have an accent color?
Well, it was, let's see, navy blue, baby blue cape off the side.
Ooh.
There might have been a little bit of baby blue in the little emblem or whatever. But yeah, I remember the band instructor, basically saying, "Hey, Johnny, what's wrong with this picture?" And I'm like, all these red dresses to the left of me, all these red dresses to the right of me, and the band's kind of in the aisles behind them. I'm like, what? There was a free seat over here.
Right.
He was not having it.
Right.
Well, it was a Catholic school. So anyways, so no dates in marching band. No,
my high school colors were blue and orange, right?
Right.
So my band uniform was mostly navy blue, and it had orange highlights. I thought it was really nice looking. And for years, I thought orange and blue were colors that go together well. Then I've been told. Then I was told.
So
they
Brian,
don't.
is this your way of telling me that you're colorblind? Is that
no,
when you
no,
reveal
it's
this?
I have perfect color vision, but my color sense just is not very good. You don't throw me into a design environment.
So are your clothes laid out for you in the morning when you wake up? Is that
they magically appear on the dresser for me.
So we've learned two things here. One, you need to use magic marker to determine that your underwear isn't inside out, and two, your clothes are laid out for you because you have no sense of color. But
that's correct.
This is good.
Of course, what the heck? All of my pants are blue. Well, I do actually have some, kind of tan colored, whatever. But the ones 90% of the time, or even more, is blue. So how hard is this, right? I've got something that goes with blue.
I thought during the pandemic now, pants were optional. Right?
Well, yes.
I need to move my camera in a bit to get away with that. But Sparky Toast Redigan, instead of playing the French horn, you should have played the French hoe, Johnny. That was my mistake. There was. I should have picked up the French horn.
Actually, that's what he thought he was getting.
No, I knew.
He ended up with a French horn.
I knew what I was getting. Now, 5-Hit Dune right again. I thought that said Scuba Steve. Sup, peeps? Hello, Dune.
Hey, Dune.
No, I remember I was in 4th grade when they told us, you could join the concert band, the 5th grade concert band, and you could pick an instrument, and you got to make 3 choices. And so And they gave us a little square floppy red record that went through the different instruments. And I looked at the instruments, and to me, it was no choice. I mean, I've seen a trumpet, and sure, a trombone's got the slidey thing, but that's, kind of bulky, rest on the shoulder there. And who wants to play a woodwind? I mean, come on. But, you see this round thing with all the twirly tubes. It just looks like a work of art. And it's like, well, yeah, that's the right one right there. All the cool kids are going to be. I was like, man, I hope I get my first choice of the French horn. I might, they might be so popular that they have to give me my second choice of drums because no one's going to pick that. But no, I got the first choice, and yeah. And then when I went to college, I found out how much a brand new French horn costs.
So a lot of kids think that
the French horn isn't cool. Yeah, I found that out.
No. A lot of kids really. I lost my train of thought there. Sorry.
I noticed.
A lot of kids want to play the saxophone. Mm-hmm. In fact, our friend Venison had this issue, and he didn't get his French choice because it was so freaking popular.
Yeah.
Actually, he ended up playing the French horn, and he didn't really like it.
Yeah, that's the thing. All 3 of us were former,
which was hilarious. This is one of our former co-hosts. Well, I should say former late co-host.
Our late co-host,
he passed
Venison
away.
Stew,
great guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, or they end up playing the clarinet, and they go, "Wow, this thing sucks." Right?
Yeah, I it's saxophone is a popular instrument. It did not appeal to me. I don't know why it didn't. Although I think usually the saxophone player is also one of the first people to go off and hang out with the ladies after the gig is done. So I maybe
right.
But it's funny. I was good friends in marching band with a saxophone player, and we both couldn't understand how we could play the other instruments. My friend Doug on the saxophone would be like, how do you keep track with only 3 keys? How many notes go with the different keys? I'm like, how do you keep track of all those keys? The
secret of the French horn is that the keys are there for show.
Yeah.
They don't even do anything. All of the intonation and everything,
especially when you get up in the higher range. Yeah, pretty much. They're there for help, and they look pretty. and you know, the more valves, the more tube they put in, the more expensive the instrument is, the more profit.
I played the most portable instrument that has ever been created, the piano. No one expects you to bring a piano to a gig, so if they want a piano player, they've got a piano there, right?
Right.
That's right. I mean, a drummer, oftentimes a drummer will just show up with a pair of drumsticks.
Yeah.
But yeah, the piano player actually has got it easier. Of course, then you have to kind of put up with, when was the last time this damn piano was tuned?
There is that. Well, that's when you go honky tonk. You know, that works.
Yeah.
You know.
But in the 80s, I picked up a synthesizer, and so I was demoted to 76 keys.
I remember a clip
but the compensation is all sorts of buttons and knobs and dials and things.
Right.
That is
and
great.
Blinking lights.
I remember a clip of Rick Wakeman doing an interview, and I guess someone had a keyboard handy to put in front of Rick Wakeman so he could demonstrate a few things, and it was great because at some point Rick Wakeman's playing, and he just keeps trying to push the keys off the edge that are not there on the part he's playing. And it did not slow him down.
It turns out that I never did learn any pieces that wouldn't simply fit into 76 keys. The 61 key keyboards, like organs and a lot of synthesizers, that is pretty easy to go off the end, right?
Yeah.
Really, pretty much. That's pretty easy. But 76 keys where you can say, oh, no, I want this sound. I want the whole sound to go up an octave or down an octave at will, just rotate a button.
Yeah.
Knob, then, yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
Okay, middle C is now over here.
But if you have the very high end and the very low end in the same section, then that's not really possible because you'll lose the low end when you shoot it up, right?
Yeah. But I did have 3 working synthesizers at one point, and I had them all in one sort of
rack,
triple stack.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Nice.
the largest one was on the bottom, 76 keys is on the bottom, and then I had a smaller one that just I laid it right on top of that music stand on it, and then above here there was a third keyboard.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good setup.
Cool.
But that was the 80s, and only one of them has survived in full function to this date.
Yeah, electronics tend to break down over time, but
especially tone arms.
I think one of them. Yeah, I think one of them could be resurrected with just getting a new ROM, just so it's socketed. So you pop out the old one and put in a new one.
Oh, there you go.
And I know somebody who says that he can get one.
Cool.
Which would be cool.
You know a guy.
Because he knows how to use eBay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You know a guy who knows a guy who knows how to get to the store, and yeah, there you go.
Yeah, a lot of these companies, they're gone. Yamaha's still with us.
Oh yeah.
So I have a Yamaha.
Oh yeah, they're big.
Yeah.
Well, there's big business in maintaining synthesizers, especially.
But Roland is still around.
Sound.
They're big, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I never owned a real one.
I know, and Korg is still around.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. But I never owned a Korg.
Yeah. Oh, damn! Right.
Yeah. So, anyways, I was going to go into a little bit of story about. This is one of these stories that unfolds into. I just love the humor in this. How unintentional. Funny thing, which gave me a great idea for Help Desk that would make Help Desk life easier for everyone if you could just do what happened with this ticket. So there's a guy who works for the company that he edits video. He interviews people and puts them in the video for communications purposes within our company with what we do, and he needed to do some video interviews using Zoom, which we recently rolled out in our company. But the settings that he wanted to go into and change, he didn't have permission to do, because you can like turn off the timestamp over the video or the name video overlay, and there's these check boxes in his account settings, whatever, for the corporate account we have, but it won't let him check those boxes. So he puts in a help desk ticket, and I get on a call with him. He shows me check boxes. I'm like, okay, that's a permissions issue. That goes to the system admins. So I boot the ticket over to the system admins. And then I watch the ticket, because I know system admins don't really care about help desk tickets. Even so you got to keep an eye on them. So I put on the watch list, and I told this guy, I'll keep you up to date. I'll give you an update tomorrow. So the next day rolls around. I pull up the ticket, and I see one of the sysadmins asks another one of the sysadmins, hey, who's responsible for that system? And it gets no answer. And it's just assigned to one of the junior sysadmins who's just kind of, keeping a watch on the ticket, because, the shit flows downhill. But, so I respond back to my end user going, well, they're trying to figure out who's the admin for that system, since it's a relatively new system, and we're working on it. Hopefully we'll have something early next week, which is this week. And he goes, well, I got some interviews scheduled for Tuesday, so I really need this working by then. So today I look at the ticket, and I see there's no answer to the inquiry of who's responsible for the system. So I reach out to the guy who had the ticket, and I said, hey, is there any update on that? And he said, wait, is that ticket still assigned to me? And I said, yeah. He goes, well, I sent it over to the communications group, because apparently one of the sysadmins said, oh, the communications manager has been responsible for a lot of the Zoom rollout. Maybe she has access to do that. And apparently they had a group in our ticketing system. So I look at now, first of all, there's this great feature in the ticketing system that if you sign it to another group, it doesn't take your name off the ticket automatically, because that'd be too convenient. Hashtag fuck programmers. But you like my little program.
But do you know that it's assigned to somebody else? In other words, that gives you a ability
when you
to track
assign a ticket to another group, a lot of times you take your name off of it and you just put it to the group so that everyone in the group sees it's there, and whoever can grab it can grab it. The only person that's actually a member of the group they sent it to is the person who opened the ticket in the first place.
I saw that coming.
I'm like, oh my God, this is genius. If we get stuck with a help desk ticket, we just assign it back to the person that opened the ticket and said, we don't know, you fix it. That is genius right there. That's
awesome. It's awesome.
So should I guess which ticketing system you have?
Yeah. That would be a good game here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Everybody put in their guesses.
I was thinking ServiceNow. A zillion
that's the one.
Configuration things for ServiceNow, and you can get it wrong.
Yeah, there are a lot of ways you could get ServiceNow wrong. Let's see how far into this. I'm not going to tell the whole story. I'm just going to see at what point you start laughing hysterically. So one of our supervisors decided that, a lot of these things that come into the help desk shouldn't really be incidents. They should be requests. And so we should set up a system to take requests in addition to incidents, so we can better separate them out. And I think that's about the point where you'd start laughing if you know anything about how requests work in ServiceNow. It is... Sir, requests have 3 layers of complexity to them that we don't need. And if you don't need 3 levels of complexity, well, too bad. That's how it works.
Yeah, right.
So every time someone opens a request, it opens a item and it opens a task. So we have a request and an item and a task for one thing. OX64 writing in, hashtag fuck programmers. As a programmer of 17 years, I can attest, programmers suck. Yeah, this has been my playful jab at Brian.
My standard line is the programmer's motto.
Mm-hmm.
The program was difficult to run, to write. It should be difficult to use.
No.
Right, Steve? Right?
Something like that. Yeah, that does seem to be the motto of a lot of people, though. I do have more. I do have more years than whoever that was earlier.
Or the other one is the other one is user calls up with an issue on a program, and you kind of go, I'm a programmer. I'm not a user. I don't know how the fucking thing works.
There is a
Go
lot
talk
of that.
to the help desk guy that knows how to use it.
Well, the thing is that help desk has that problem too, and that's something that I tried not to use as an excuse, but more of honesty. Like, hey, you're gonna have to explain some of this to me because I don't use it. I just support it. Like.
Well, that happens. Yeah.
Like SAP, I could tell you, I could reset your password, I could set up your account, but once you get signed into SAP, you're on your own there. I don't know what's going on in there. You have fun. You ask someone else what to do in there.
Okay, so I just connected to our show, and who is the advertiser this week?
Who is it?
Little Caesars. Oh, look at that delicious
pizza. Oh, yes.
Oh, it's this woman in the back of this car. Oh, yeah. The guy whips off his toupee, goes through the sunroof or whatever, and throws it at the building. I'm not even sure what any of that means, but it's silly.
It's Little Caesars commercials usually are silly. Didn't they once do a commercial where they were talking about how they would offer a free pizza and a perm?
Oh, I don't remember that.
That was
yeah.
But then they decided to offer a free pizza, a pizza and a free pizza, and that was better than
the
pizza and a free perm.
Yeah, but some of these ads can go a little too. Are you actually going to own what is being said there?
Oh.
And then, of course, like the progressive ads are totally silly. Or the ones that I hate are the Liberty Mutual. The emu, kill that fucking bird, right?
You both have sort of left me in the dark. I pulled the plug on TV in 2005.
Yeah, so you're lucky. You're not seeing these ads.
Some of the best parts of TV are the commercials.
Well, yeah. Well, in fact, I had I used to run a Not Myth box, Myth TV.
Right.
And so you could record programs, and I would record the Super Bowl. And there's, when you're done recording, you hit the button that says, tag all the commercials. Right.
And then
it did a good job at that. No. I'm not done it. So you could watch it without the commercials, or you hit this other one that says reverse the tag.
Yes.
So then you're only watching commercials.
That is exactly the one I would do for the Super Bowl. Right there. Now, OX64 commenting. Oh, go ahead.
It was the other year, but the Super Bowl only has like 11 minutes of play.
Yeah. Yes, right.
so you're only skipping 11 minutes.
That
skip the ads.
That would be great if someone post game would just put the 11-minute Super Bowl video together and just put that up on YouTube and then get immediately sued by everyone. But
right. Oh, it kills me. You watch a program on. I think the worst is Discovery Channel. You watch, a segment of some show you're looking at, and then, boom, it goes into ads. And is there a limit on how many ads that it can play? What is it, 20?
No.
Oh my God! It's like, when are you going to get back to the show?
Well, they've actually developed technology for reruns to do a few things. One is, first of all, a lot of times reruns get trimmed down if they can in syndicate packages, but they also set them to play at a slightly faster pace that's not quite noticeable, but maybe a little noticeable to get more. And then they also will edit the content in reruns to have embedded ads. That were not on the original airing. Like there might be a TV in the background that's running something different from what it ran in the original airing.
The thing I find also in the syndicated show, and I've seen this a few times, where you're watching the syndicated show and there's some theme song that's playing and you realize, wait a second, that wasn't in the original airing. So they changed the music. That's bizarre.
You think that's wrong. What about the first DVD issue of the first season of WKRP? That was a abomination, what they did to that show.
I didn't see that. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was a show about a radio station, and they couldn't clear the licensing for a reissue.
I watched WKRP, but I did not see the DVDs or anything.
Yeah, I think they eventually put out a complete set that retained about 80% of the original music. But the first attempt they had to put it out, they put out season 1 and replaced like 90% of the music with generic music, and of course it did not sell enough copies to warrant doing the same with the second season. But that's a real issue, music licensing on DVD reissues, which is not anything anyone considered when originally running these programs on TV.
So how do you do the issues on DVD and the various generations of that, the box set and the blah blah blah, the blah blah blah, and then the syndication showing on some cable channel, the whole gambit. In fact, I just came across a station that plays Hogan's Heroes. I had been looking for that for quite a while. But our cable turns out, it includes something called Me TV. I think it's a little self-centered.
Well, you could get that with an antenna as a sub-channel in many areas too. Me TV is a pretty popular
in this valley, the antenna would be 500 feet high.
Well, and
it's still not work.
You get Steve to build one of those platforms there for your binoculars. You just put the antenna on top of that, put that up on the roof.
There you go. The DIY.
Maybe you can use the binoculars to capture a few more
to amplify the signal. Yes, put the binoculars in front of the antenna.
Now we're talking. See, this show is about solutions.
Yes.
Most of them bad.
And Little Caesars Pizza.
According to chemistry, alcohol is part of the solution.
Yes. That is.
That's a universal solution, right?
There we go. Now, going back to talking about programmers, OX64 wrote that he's so sick of the ADHD style of coding developers do. For instance, I went to go live on Facebook. Instead of just giving me the go live, it asks 700 non-related pop-up questions and, quote, did you know that, ... Oh, wow. And OX64 also got rid of his TV in 2005 as well.
I still have my TV because I'm a hoarder. I have an original Atari 2600, so I have a black and white TV from when was that? The 1981.
See, you and Johnny are like twins.
Yeah, although I got the 32-inch Sony Trinitron Color for my gaming TV.
And I still do have a color TV, but I don't know if I can hook it up to the 2600 easily or not. That is a color NTSC TV. But the monitor in front of me has been used as a TV. I just put a DVD in the computer and watch it HD.
Yeah, exactly.
So you were talking about editing shows shorter, right?
Right.
But I've been watching Star Trek on Paramount Plus, and TOS, the original series was NTSC, so it's a little box, but it's almost the width. It is the height of the screen, right?
Right.
So you just have sidebars. And TNG Next Generation is the same, but Enterprise, which was 2005, it's HD. It was shot in HD.
Oh,
cool.
Right. But anyway, on the length of these things, the original series were something like 54 minutes or 55 minutes each.
Damn.
But if you fast forward to Enterprise 2005, they're 43 minutes. So they were expecting,
and a lot of today, a lot of shows run, I think, 20 to 22 minutes. And here's the funny thing, and here they just jam up with ads, right? When we were living in Singapore, we would watch some American TV programming. They would run out of ads, so they would just end the show and start the next show. Or they would say, oh, okay, we're going to throw in this next show, but at the half hour mark, we have to cut it off. So like it's an extended long trailer.
You can almost put it in twice.
It was bizarre.
Yeah.
It was bizarre. Like, oh, wait a minute, we need another ad? Holy mackerel.
Now, Sparky Toaster commenting, I guess it's something you said earlier, Brian. Brian, that is because the kids that are doing the programming for the reruns were not alive when it was originally aired. They went to YouTube to get their info, and YouTube was incorrect.
Correct. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And 5-Hit Dune weighing in on the programmer thoughts there. Whenever a programmer says, all you have to do is, for him that equals a throat punch.
Exactly. Yeah. We didn't think of that.
So one of the recent memes on Facebook, believe it or not, there's a picture. All you see is the body of probably a decent-looking woman, but with the T-shirt. And so the T-shirt says on the top, and it's a black T-shirt with bright yellow lettering, an algorithm. When programmers don't want to explain what they did. Heuristic. When programmers can't explain what they did. Machine learning. When programmers don't know what they did.
Yeah. Well, anyways, the whole reason I was bringing up the programmers was, I thought it'd be fun to have a little recurring a bit on the show, maybe. Like we have recurring bits like the Dollar Bin specials, or a while ago we had a recurring bit where we would have Gothard review breakfast cereals every week. And of course, the best part of recurring bits is not the bit itself, but I always come up with hokey theme music to introduce the bit each week. So I figure...
Oh, yeah.
And I found this great sampler tape that would come with a quadraphonic 8-track deck manufactured by Sylvania. So they give you a little bit of quad sampler. And I was just like, it's got this great bossa nova beat here. And I'm like, here we go. This is our... I mean... I think this expresses just how goofy this bit is, and there's no real fighting here. But programmer versus help desk, I think, should be a recurring bit we have, because Brian, you're a programmer, and I'm help desk, and we never really had it out as a programmer versus help desk when working, except for that one time that you started flinging water at me from the water bottle.
What was that issue? I forget.
Well, that was because you. Go ahead.
I used to be the help desk for the apps that I was, sort of DevOps, but DevOps wasn't a thing yet. The help desk would call me would send me a user, and they would say, "Hey, your app is down," or something, right?
Right.
But I would get internal users, and so I was in Detroit, and this one user was in Florida. And he said, I can't get this thing to print. So by then I had figured out how to talk to his printer. Actually, his printer had a web page, had a web server in it, and I figured out how to talk to it. And so I had it was 200 links, one for each office. And and I would just go, okay, this is it. And I would click on it, and I would say, oh, that's because you're out of paper. You need to add some paper.
That is great. I've gotten 2 a.m. phone calls from the damn shipping department because the printer stopped working. And I'm like, what does it say? It says PC load letter. I was like, what? Is there paper in the paper tray? Oh, we're very sorry about that. Yeah.
At least this was, I would get these calls during the day, so during the 9 to 5 workday.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, but when you actually handle your own help desk, you write code that you don't get called.
That's what we're missing.
I don't want it to ever be down. And so the new idea, DevOps, hey, let's get back to that, because we never used to do this.
Yeah, now that is, you should, if you write it, you should be able to support it. But a lot of companies, they silo things off, and so it's very hard to get.
Yeah,
it depends, and it varies place to place. But sometimes it's very hard to get a programmer to talk to you.
So I'm absolutely awful at debugging, unless it's my code. So I've actually gotten somebody on the phone, right, who said, "Oh, you've got there's this bug in this program," and I'm thinking, I wrote that, and he describes it a little bit, and I go, "Oh, let me see, that's this file. Here it is." I do a couple changes. I tell it to rebuild the thing and deploy it because why not? And I go, "How's that?"
Perfect. That is the best help desk right there. But now it's funny, Brian, because you asked what was that you flung the water at me for. It was actually a bit reversed. I was defending the program and you were criticizing it.
What was it? I don't recall.
You were pointing out that it was a security concern that Outlook would cache its data, because that way you're able to view the cached data before it authenticates and checks your password. And I pointed out that the only reason you could access the cached data is because you've already signed in with a valid password to your profile that has the cached data. And it was halfway into the explanation that you started flinging water at me because you just didn't want to hear any of this. And neither of us are security experts, so I don't know.
Right. I'm starting to think that companies don't even have security experts.
No, they do. They make pretty good money right up until the hack. That's
See, there you go.
I worked at a lot of places, but only one had a guy whose job it was to handle security, to make sure that the new products are secure, and that actually talked to me, the developer, before I got started. Only one. One guy actually talked to me, said, "Oh, I see you releasing this thing. I have to talk to you." And I said, "Who are you?" "I'm the chief of security for the company." And I'm going, it's too late, dude. I went over and I talked to him, and I talked to him about various possible security concerns. I talked to him for about an hour. He said, "I'll get back to you." And a couple of days later, he got back to me and he said, "Yeah, you're approved." It was a rubber stamp. He'd never looked at my code, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He talked to you and go, "All right, you sound like you know what you're talking about. Sounds good to me."
Well, this one job, this is one of my earliest job where I was on basically a big network. One of the security, in fact, and I talked to this guy a couple of times. The computer security guy, of course, and the guy's name was Hacker.
That is perfect. That is beautiful right there. That is just the right.
It was kind of like, don't even say anything, right? Don't even say anything. Oh,
the jokes just write them. That's when you're like, nope, can't go for the obvious. I got to think of a good joke to use with this one.
Yeah, I need the perfect line, and
you got to save that one. Put that right there in your back pocket. That way, someone walks in. We've just had a security vulnerability in our system, and you just turn to him and go, "Hacker."
So that would be as if we're back on the music topic. That would be like, I had a music test today. I passed wind.
I love a good fart joke.
Yeah.
But anyways, what I wanted to do with, because anyone who follows me on Twitter knows that, anytime I have something to gripe about, that's what I use Twitter for. Twitter is my vent to the universe. And I can shout and pretend like everyone's listening to me, and everyone just, gradually mutes me on their Twitter feed. So yeah, I still have Twitter followers. I don't think they see anything I say anymore. But I created the hashtag fuck programmers hashtag this past week, so I could easily track my gripes about programming.
There is another one that goes with it. In fact, I think in my latest tweet, I think it was fuck users.
Yes, you did include that one. But
and when you go into that one's also funny.
That is. So I wanted to run a few of my programming gripes by you and see if you have any defense of this. So earlier this week, Windows popped up a window saying that it applied some updates and it needed me to reboot. And so I saw that. The window wasn't responding at that moment, so I went to the start menu and I selected the option to reboot. And then it starts cycling. I walk away. I come back a half hour later. The computer's still stuck on something that's not responding that it wants me to address before it'll reboot because there's an open program preventing it from rebooting. The open program, the window telling me I needed a reboot.
Oh, that's perfect.
I think we can do better than that. Come on.
In the Windows 95 days, Windows 95, this is an operating system, I guess, that for me crashed 2 to 3 times a day, but every single day it crashed in a new way I had never seen before. So I worked like 6 months with Windows 95, and every single day, without fail, a crash I'd never seen before.
Yeah, anyway, I believe that.
Anyway, at the time there was a meme. It was, somebody had drawn it up like a meme. We didn't have Facebook or anything, but not in '95. But anyway, somebody drew this up, and it looked like a Windows error, right?
Right.
And it said, "Your mouse has moved. Please reboot in order for the changes to take effect."
Oh, that is perfect. I love that. It's so true. So true. Now I run the Twitter app on my computer. Give me easy access to Twitter. Who has time to bring up another tab in your browser and type in TW and have it autocomplete? No, I have the Twitter app and I have it pinned to my taskbar next to my Chrome pin.
You picked that up through the Microsoft Store?
Yeah, from the Microsoft Store. And it's been there for, a number of years now. Well, the last 3 updates that have come through Twitter in the past week, not only does it automatically update itself without telling you that it's updating itself, but I know it's updated itself because it unpinned itself every time it updated itself.
Oh, so Sparky says Windows 95 was the worst ever. The thing would not shut down on its own.
It would, just not when you told it to.
Well, right. Here's what I think is very bizarre. I have a desktop computer. It's Windows 10. Most of the things actually works well. Oh, sorry. I have a Amazon Echo device, and I changed the wake word to computer.
Which is brilliant since we do a show about computers often.
Yes. Oh, here's
a word he would never speak by accident.
So computer notifications. Computer notification.
One new notification from Amazon Shopping. Minnow has arrived.
Holy shit! I gotta go get it. It said Minnow.
Minnow?
I'll be right back.
Minnow has arrived.
In the meantime, if I wanted to shut down Windows 95, what I would do is I would print something to the color printer.
That would crash it, right?
So yeah. So it would actually print whatever you printed. It's only one job it'll print, right? So it would actually go off to the printer and it would get queued and it would print. But your machine would crash down to the bare metal. So what I would do in order to print something was I would go through all of my apps, I would save my work, and I would exit the app, right? Until I got to the one that I wanted to print, right? Usually Word, but not always. And I would make sure that I saved it, and then I would tell it to go ahead and print. And
all right, let's see what this is.
I would wait for the machine to be coming back up so that I could do something so that it would actually be booted. And then I would go across the building, get the printout, and come back, and my machine would be back up. So it was almost all right.
You had it down perfect. You had it scheduled. You scheduled your crashes and revolved your schedule around.
Exactly.
Well, that's the way you want it.
That is brilliant.
That's the way you want it. You want it to crash when you don't need to be there.
So I was writing this 300 and something page document, I think, or maybe it was 400 something, and only about 15 pages were in color. And so I would schedule, I would edit these things all day, right? But I would schedule the crash for after lunch.
Nice. Oh, he got himself a fishing lure.
Yeah.
Wow.
The interesting thing is, I ordered 2.
Oh, you ordered 2?
I think it was separate. It was ordered. I think they made it into 2 orders for some reason.
You ordered 2. They sent 1. Maybe the program got it wrong.
Separately. Yeah, right. Let's blame the programmer, huh? Yeah, huh?
Wait a minute. Isn't this a phishing piece of mail?
Yeah. Yeah, I see where you're going with that.
Okay, I'll take that as a cue to play a drum fill. Sparky Toast writing in, Brian orders fake fish on the internet. Can't he catch his own?
Good one. Well, you see, the thing is, if I use a regular hook with bait, it's just drowning bait. So
there is that.
And I'm going crabbing tomorrow. Wednesday with Andy.
Oh, nice.
You remember Andy, right?
The one that didn't work there when I started. Well, there was the Andy that used to work there.
No, the programmer.
Right. He didn't work there by the time I started there. The
Andy, he was already gone?
He was already gone. The Andy that worked there when I was there was the guy that would come up to my cubicle and go, I see that you're punching out at 4.5 hours past.
Yeah, the guy in accounting.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. I like him. He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
He was a good guy. Easy impersonation to do. Yeah. Five at Dune writes in, he could just go to the pregnant pier and get a fish.
Right. There are no crabs there.
There are no crabs, but there's pregnancy tests, and we know that because Dune found one while walking there. And yeah.
And I Googled that, and I confirmed. I'll be damned. That's what they do. When they bring in fish, Steve, and they have it all crated up, from the fishing boats, they drop a pregnancy test thing right on it. It also happens to be a useful test to test for mercury, which is why they use.
Oh, how about that?
Who knew? Well, a fisherman knew.
Well, now we know.
And of course,
Dune
reminded us, and he found it. I'm sure he was, when he saw it, he was probably going, "What the actual fuck?"
Yeah, what's going on this pier that they're having pregnancy tests?
Right.
Yeah, in the pharmaceutical industry, if you can come up with a new use for aspirin or something like that, you can patent that new use for an existing drug, and you can make money for the length of your new patent, 17 usually years.
Yeah.
So so somebody happened to know how these things worked and go, I bet.
So Botox, the infamous plastic surgery tool, they discovered it also treats migraines. Interestingly enough, whenever you see a Botox cosmetic ad, within the same show or hour or whatever, you'll see the Botox from migraine ads. And I'm thinking, not only we're going to catch the royalties on both sides here, we are going to catch the guy that's going to go, oh, I get it. My insurance will cover Botox for migraines. I'm really using it cosmetically, but who the hell's going to know the difference?
It's kind of like medical marijuana then, right?
Does your health insurance cover that?
I don't know if health insurance covers it, but I know a lot of people claim to need medical marijuana and they don't. You know,
yes, right. But they got the card. They got the card. So
they went to the doctor and said, "I have really bad pain. I think I need to smoke more pot," and then they get a card.
And they uh-huh.
That's how it works. They come back and they say, "Pain went away."
Thanks, Doc.
Can I claim to be a great amateur astronomer and have glaucoma at the same time?
Well, astronomy requires one eye to look through the telescope, and you can have glaucoma in just one eye, right? So that's I'm not a doctor. I don't know how that works, but I'm thinking one eye has glaucoma, one eye uses the telescope.
You're thinking of pirates. Pirates,
no, they did that to adjust to the darkness.
That's right, exactly. You switch the patch to the other eye.
Yeah.
And then you go down, or you go down and then you switch it so that you can see.
Right. Was that in a Mel Brooks? Oh no, I'm thinking of Young Frankenstein, where the hump is on the other side.
The hump, right, Igor. Young Frankenstein.
Yes. Good movie.
So let's see. Another programming gripe I ran into this week. Maybe someone can help me with this one. Well, I got to help. And this thought never occurred to me. Never in my life have I thought that has the need come up to BCC a meeting invite. Have you ever had this need come up that you're sending out a meeting invite through Outlook and you want to copy people on it, but you don't want people to be able to reply all to them, so you want to blind copy them?
Oh, okay. I see the need. I hadn't tried that. Go ahead.
There is no BCC field on meeting invites in Outlook.
No shit.
But if you Google it, and the only reason I know this is because someone opened up a help desk ticket saying, we've been BCCing people on our meeting invites by adding them to the resources field, which I had no idea there was a resources field on meeting invites because I never used that. And I don't know how it's supposed to work or what it's meant for, but they were using it. What's that? It's like for a conference room, maybe?
Yeah. So essentially a conference room has an email.
Right. Now that I kind of get, but I didn't realize that it would be blind. Why would a resource be blind? But apparently adding a resource to a meeting makes it blind copy. So people will invite people as a resource if they want to blind copy them to a meeting. And when I Googled this, I found out, wow, there are actually several forum posts or guides online that suggest doing this. However, apparently, this person's noticed over the past month or so that people that are getting these meeting invites can see the people that are added as resources, and so they're not blind copies anymore. So now that's my problem as help desk to figure out what changed. And I'm like, well, I don't think that's what it's designed for, and also I don't see an option to blind copy. So it's like, it's like, yeah, sounds like it's broken, and I can't help you, but I can't add a ticket that way. That's not a good. So now I got to figure that out. Like, what changed?
I have written 5 letters to Microsoft that are bugs of different kinds. I had an employer that said, I would say, there's this bug in whatever Word or something. And anyway, so I wrote this. I would write the letter. Sometimes I would include a floppy disk that had everything that you needed to debug this thing. But whatever. And I am batting 0 for 5.
0 for 5.
Wow.
I am not surprised on that.
You got the magic code.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you're working. It doesn't matter if you're working for a company that has 300,000 Windows seats. That's not a big enough company, apparently. To Microsoft.
That's chump change to Microsoft.
So I knew a guy that during his career, he was retired when I knew him. He worked for a bank, in the good old IBM mainframe days. And those guys would actually get to talk to IBM on problems. Now, so he had this one issue that he reported to IBM, and they denied that this problem existed.
Oh.
So he wrote his own patch in IBM machine code to fix it, and he just sent that off to him. Do what you want with
it.
Nice.
See, now in the open source world, you make up your patch that fixes, I don't know, your printer or something. I've done this.
Yeah.
And you submit this, and if they don't do anything with it, then I guess you'll have to apply the patch next time you upgrade.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So you'll have your own patch. You only have your own patch set. Yeah.
Oh, I
did get credit for patches I made to this one library package, and I didn't know that I had gotten credit for quite a few years. I had gotten a new DVD of something. It was probably Linux, and it had all sorts of software on it, including this package that I had contributed to, and I was in the credits. I was
nice.
Cool. Hey, that's just like Johnny when he submitted something to people at Pink Floyd. He got total credit, right?
Pink Floyd? I There
was some source material you provided.
The Pink Floyd? I don't.
Wasn't it Pink Floyd?
No.
For one of their releases?
Well, no, I provided a transfer of a quadraphonic 8-track tape of Rick Wakeman Journey to the Center of the Earth, and sent it off to the guy that was authoring the DVD audio, who sent it to Abbey Road. And Abbey Road's response on that was, well, we had several samples. We don't know which one we chose. I compared the retail copy to my original source files, and it matches perfectly. But they did send me a free copy because they believed me when I told them, hey, thank you for using it.
Oh, yeah, yes. So there you go.
Actually, they told me they didn't know who did it. Because they didn't credit me. And then I talked to another guy that knew a guy that was involved in the project, and because he thought that they found a safety master somewhere, because he was on the quality control team that was quality checking different editions of the set as they were updating it. And at one point, the quality control people were like, "Whoa, did they find a safety copy of the because it was better than the previous transfers people were doing of 8 tracks or CD4 records." And so when I told the guy, well, that was my 8-track transfer, he believed me because he knew he was familiar with my work. And so he talked to a guy, and Label said, you need to send this guy a free box. And so that was kind of like credit that, I got a free box set out of the company. I would have liked to have seen my name on it.
Yeah, that would have been cool. But, oh well. So credit not given.
Credit not given.
Credit paid in a way.
Well, I am credited as the assistant recording engineer on I think it's an Adrian Gale album. They're like a small band that was on an indie label that did kind of an 80s hair metal style of stuff, and I assisted on a lot of those sessions. But they spelt my last name wrong.
Did you get? But did you get credit for you were doing some work with what's his name, who's dead now, Velvet Underground,
Lou Reed.
Well,
now Dune pointing out that the free box that I go, no, it was a hush box.
And you just blew it. You have to send it back now.
I did not attach any strings to those files when I sent them. So yeah, it would have been nice for my name to be on there, but I hold no ill will towards them. With Lou Reed, I gave them the idea. What happened was Lou Reed did an album of amplifier feedback in the mid '70s called Metal Machine Music, and it was a double album. And it ended in the lock groove, so it went on infinitely.
What would be better than have a single disc of amplifier feedback. Oh, 2 discs with amplifier.
I mean, this is one of the great. I mean, to this day, there are contracts have musicians' contracts have changed over years in response to certain things. And sometimes different clauses that are added to contracts as a result of something are given nicknames. So oftentimes contracts will include a clause as a nickname, a Metal Machine Music clause, which is a clause that says that in order to meet the album obligations on your contract, the album you submit has to sound like the act we signed, not a bunch of Metal Machine music like Lou Reed did in the mid '70s. Now the rumors were that Lou Reed submitted that album for release because it was a contractual obligation. But Lou Reed is on the record saying, "No, I was very serious about it. I was also very, very stoned." But yeah, it's basically a double album of stuff like this.
Wow.
We're gonna get dinged for copyright probably for playing this.
Yeah, right.
But we have to keep it short.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so it was a double album, and they released a quad edition of it. And some years later, it's an infamous album. It's well known in the music world. It certainly was inspirational to a lot of punk or heavy type stuff.
Or Frank Zappa.
Possibly. And so at some point, this performance ensemble that does avant-garde type of stuff got the idea to make a performing version of Metal Machine Music to perform on stage with instruments. A lot of screeching strings were involved on this. It was quite impressive. And they actually contacted Lou Reed to be involved with it. When they told him the idea, his response was absolutely impossible. There's no way you could possibly do it. They had to send him a sample of some of what they come up with, and he's like, "Oh my God, you did it!" So he actually came and performed kind of a noisy feedback guitar solo towards the end of the piece at the performances for it. And so I bought that. Of course I did. And I was reading the liner notes, and Lou Reed actually referenced the quadraphonic mix in the liner notes, saying, "I really wish you could have heard the quad mix of it. It was incredible." And I'm like, "Oh my God." And so I sent an email through his website saying, "I have heard the quad mix of it. You're right. It's awful. It's not awful. It's wonderful." I like it. To me, lots of different things jump out in that wall of sound. You can really get enveloped in it if you're in the right mindset.
So here's something.
In other words, high.
Mm-hmm.
Something I don't know. I know almost everything, but something I don't know. With the advent of 5.1 systems, sound systems, did quad get moved into the 5.1 sort of arena, and you could get it in that format or not?
There have been reissues of quad material for 5.1 systems with either the center channel left silent or like in the 90s when DTS was starting to get into the surround game. They were releasing things as DTS audio CDs, which was kind of a failed format because it required having a CD player with a digital connection to your receiver, which was not quite a common thing yet. That was more common with DVD players, and that market was still growing at that time. So you'd buy a DTS CD and you put it in a normal CD player in your boombox or in the car, and you just get a bunch of noise, digital garbage coming out. And some of the releases they put out were reissues of quad material, but they took the front channels and made a mixed down version to put in the center channel because they were afraid people would think something was broken if the center channel was left silent. But more recently, the Super Audio CD is a format that has survived as a niche format, and there's a label based out of England called Dutton Vocalion. That has been reissuing quad stuff on SACD with a empty center channel and empty subwoofer. So there's been various quad reissues to 5.1 over the years. And of course I could spend hours going into details on those. But that was what I reached out to Lou Reed about was, the technology's there. Why don't you reissue the quad on a Blu-ray was emerging at the time. So I'm like, put out a DVD, put out a Blu-ray or an SACD. You got options. And he did.
Now you can use a thumb drive. So you just have MP3 but with 4 channels.
Right.
Whatever you want.
Surround MP3s technically exist, but they never caught on. But you could do like multi-channel video type of file streams with maybe a still on there, or FLAC is a format that supports multi-channannel. There are options.
So,
right.
Yeah.
I'm
but anyway, a CD. Yeah, a CD will, I imagine. So a CD will hold a boatload of music in like OGG format, right?
Right.
I mean, it's not, you're not limited to 70 minutes or whatever, right? It's a long time
if you
now.
compress it and use it as a data disk, and your player can read that, because you could.
Right,
I mean, that was what that's what I used to do. I used to go ahead.
For listening in the car, I got the audio discs for a reading of The Lord of the Rings. It's 78 hours. And I converted it to mono and relatively low quality, it is voice quality, right? Relatively low quality, but there is some sung stuff in the reading of the book, because there's some songs that Tolkien put in it, and they're okay actually at this. And I got these 78 hours of the entire book, the entire 3 books, I guess.
Right.
On a single CD, just a regular CD, not a DVD, just a regular CD. And you can play that in your car, and you go down to Argentina and then back, and you're getting toward the end of it.
and that was cool back in the day. And now you could just dwarf that with a thumb drive, and the cars these days come with the ability to, or on your phone. So.
And the phone, you can put a terabyte in your phone, and then what? and your phone doesn't even, you can even have the phone outside the window and it'll play on your stereo.
But technology has certainly come a long way. What's interesting though is there is a kind of a gap between quad and 5.1, but not by much. The CD format technically has the capability to do quad. It's just that it was never implemented. There was never a player that was implemented to use that feature. But the technical
in the Orange Book, which I never read.
What's that?
The Orange Book, which was the CD standard. I never read
a red book.
It was the Orange Book.
Orange Book. I thought.
I
know there's different colored books, but I thought standard music CD.
There was a standard. There was a music CD book, and I thought I was going to read it at one point, but the project didn't last long enough.
Yeah, but in the specs for the music CD, there is a flag for stereo or quad.
Really?
Which would cut the audio down in half, so that would not be very convenient. But because a CD, I mean, the 74 minutes was you'd have to make Beethoven's Ninth a 2 CD set at that point, then, right?
That's right. Instead of being quad.
If to have it in quad on there, but they never implemented that, so there's not really anything you could do with that tidbit of knowledge. But it's interesting.
You could just put Beethoven's Ninth in on a DVD in quad.
Yeah.
And, And then it would be mostly empty, but whatever.
Pretty. Oh yeah, you can do that.
It's in the same drive.
Yeah, or, high res 5.1 surround.
These days, if you've got you don't have just a CD player in your computer, right? I mean, does anybody have just a CD? It's always a DVD player or even a Blu-ray player.
Right.
And it'll play anything about that size.
Yeah. Maybe in the antique collection, I have a few with a CD player, but it's even though most of those have DVDs.
I had a 2X CD player that was SCSI.
I remember
it eventually died.
I remember when I was in college, I was familiar with the term SCSI and IDE, but I really learned what they meant when I bought a SCSI drive for my motherboard that had an IDE port. That's when I really learned the importance.
And you go, suck.
So I flipped it and bought the IDE version, and that was how I got my first CD burner. It was an 8-speed
There
burner.
was,
Right.
there was a decent chance that I have a 9 gig SCSI drive somewhere in this room. I wouldn't know where to look. But, there's a decent chance.
I had a scanner that was a SCSI scanner.
Yeah, I had one also, and I would still have it, but my wife's printer scanner, I think it may have a modem in it. I don't know. Well, the inkjet printer, the ink for the inkjet printer was like, as much as the printer cost. So so we stopped using it, and I went, well, but this is still a scanner, and I it's USB scanner. So I tried it, and I went, hey, this is way faster than the SCSI scanner. Oh, that's right, that's more than a decade old.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I threw it out, and I threw out the SCSI cards and all of the cables and all of that, except for the ones that still worked on the Mac.
Well, it's funny. I was shopping at a Goodwill one time many years ago, and I found this HP flatbed scanner for like $3. And what really drew my attention to it was the original driver disc was taped to the scanner. You never find a scanner with a driver disc still kept with it in the wild. So so they got my $3. I brought it home. I set it up, and I used it in Windows XP, and it probably dated back to Windows 98. And then as the years went on, I upgraded from Windows XP to Windows 7, and that's when I found out that HP didn't want to keep paying programmers to program new drivers for all their old equipment when they could make more money making people buy new scanners. And so that's where
you figure, oh, I see, HP is a hardware company. So, that's the only thing they know how to sell.
So me being a cheap ass, I got VirtualBox and set up a Virtual XP machine and would use that to scan anything when I needed to. But at some point I had problems. It wasn't always syncing up the USB connection between the physical machine and the virtual machine properly. And what I found was brilliant. Although HP never developed a newer driver for it, there is a company that makes a software. It's called VueScan, VueScan. And it's a software that is specifically to work with older scanners that they never developed drivers for in modern versions of Windows. They set up like a virtual hardware device in your device manager, and their software, it's a paid piece of software, but it was a one-time fee of like $10 or $15, something very reasonable. That was like, oh my God, take my money. Now my scanner works without a virtual machine anymore. And so that is great right there, that some third-party company basically made. And there's a list of the different devices it'll work with. So if you got an old flatbed scanner that stopped working years ago, there are solutions for that.
Yeah. It seems to me that at least one of my machines that had a SCSI controller in it, right, for these external drives, I'm pretty sure that one of these things died. That would probably be the Pentium 2. The Pentium 2 had a video card that didn't have the metal plate, and therefore you couldn't screw it down, right? And so I kicked some cable underneath the computer, the desk, at some point. And apparently it was the video cable, and I fried the motherboard and most of the cards and everything else as the video card popped out. So I believe my Athlon, which replaced that machine. I might have the wrong machine set, but anyway, the next machine, I had to buy a SCSI card, so otherwise I wouldn't have a scanner.
Right. that there is that. I've gone through a lot of machines myself too. I don't know if I've ever kicked a card out of one of mine, but I could see myself doing that.
In my current situation, There are some power cables that are within reach of my feet, but it's a lot less than it used to be.
That's always fun when you have the power strip and it works its way closer and closer to your foot, and then your foot finds the power cord, and you're just right in the middle of something.
That hasn't happened.
Here's my favorite. I was having a problem with my router, and so I was trying to get some support help with the problem I was having with my router. So I call support, and I get the first level of tech support, which is a call center in India, a guy I can barely understand who wants me to do all the steps I already did, and that's all he knows how to do. But he won't listen to me saying, no, I already tried all this. You need to escalate me. No. I help you. And so, I restart the router. I go into this setting. I check that. I verify that. I confirm to him that the firmware is up to date. I do all these things. So then he goes, all right, let me escalate you to level 2 support. At this point, level 2 support was still in the call center in India. So, and that's why I got someone that her favorite line was, "Now listen to me, sir." And, I'm like, no, I already tried it. No, listen to me, sir. And so at some point, they escalated me to level 3 support. And I got a call center in California and spoke to a very knowledgeable person who's helped me through all these things. And I'm like, oh, my God, I'm getting help. Oh, my God, we're getting somewhere. So he's like, maybe we'll try a firmware that's a newer firmware that was developed for a similar model that should be compatible with that model. And we'll see how that works. So I apply the firmware, and he goes, okay, power cycle the router. And the router was over there where I would have to reach a bit, but the power strip that the router was plugged into was right at my feet, so it was a less of a stretch. So I reached down and I flipped the switch in the power strip, and that's when I heard the click of the cordless phone cut the call off. I was like, oh my God, it took me a half hour to get to that knowledgeable person.
Right.
and at that point, I call back, and I'm like, you got to forward me to Ryan in California. I don't know no Ryan in California. No, I help you. So I go through the same thing again with them. Then I get to another, no, listen to me, sir, person, and then that person says, okay, we'll escalate you to level 3 tech support. Oh, finally, they will call you back in 2 to 4 business days. I'm like, no. Forward me to level 3. They're like, no, we can't forward you to level 3 tech support. Someone just did. And they didn't believe. So after some arguing and some back and forth, they gave me a phone number to call. And I thought maybe they were just giving me like something out of the yellow pages or scribbled on the stall in the bathroom. But
dialaprayer.com.
They said, try this number. They'll help you. I called that number. I get a very polite receptionist in a call center somewhere in the United States. I said, is Ryan so-and-so there? Oh, you just missed him. He left for the day. So, but that was great because I had the number.
Right,
so
right.
I couldn't believe that number actually worked and got me right to the level 3 tech support.
And it wasn't 1-800 eat shit.
No, it wasn't.
What?
I need your help.
Oh, okay.
Help desk to the rescue.
Apparently I'm
to the rescue.
All right. Well, you go have fun with the help desk rescue mission. Now, what have you learned here this week, though, before you sign off? Or are you going to help quickly come back?
Learned?
Yeah. Now, are you going to help someone or in signing off, or are you going to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I should probably sign off as well.
Okay. Well, what have you learned on the show today? It's we do this at the end of every show.
Standard feature.
Yeah, because if we're not learning something.
I didn't study for this test.
That's a good one.
This is the best part of doing this show, seeing when I'm going to put someone on the spot.
Well, I learned that you don't necessarily have to have a joke file to have a bunch of jokes coming at a steady clip. That's interesting to know.
That is,
right.
There we go.
Do you have a favorite really cryptic programming joke, either of you? Something nobody will get.
I often refer to problems being between the chair and the keyboard or ID10T errors, but those are more help desk jokes than programming.
Yeah. You know, the auto industry also has the nut between the, I don't know, the car and the seat or something.
The seat and the steering wheel,
the
something
gas
like
pedal.
that.
Yeah,
there you
whatever.
go.
Yeah. They've got a similar one. My favorite is is a protocol joke.
Okay.
I could tell you a UDP joke, but you might not get it.
I
So
think
UDP as a protocol, that's right. UDP as a protocol is it was originally the unreliable data protocol.
I see. You not get it.
It gets sent, and if they get it, they get it. If they don't, no one cares.
It's funny because it's true, because we might not get it.
Yeah. Yeah. So why do you use it? Well, TCP/IP is based on it, right?
Right.
You got to have something to be based on, right? So it is the mechanism, and TCP the way that it works is that TCP, the protocol is did you get it? 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 Did you get it?
I seem to recall, I don't fully understand this, but there was like a later Commodore computer that was made, and there was a team that was saying, oh, you should use this component in it, and they get the component and it doesn't have the way the features worked, it didn't work right. And I remember basically what the developers did to make their point was every time the guy that recommended this part that ended up not working right walked by, they would just randomly answer the phone. And when it's like, what are you doing? It's like, well, we want to check if there was a call or not. You know, something. I figured I would explain just enough of that for you to fill in the blanks that are needed there.
And on that note,
that was a horrible telling of that story, but
yeah, well, you know, did you know that the delivery of about half of all jokes is below average?
Yeah, that is factually correct. It checks out.
What is factually correct is that half of all joke deliveries are below the median, but you know, people have to know what math is for that.
Right.
Yeah.
87% of the statistics were made up on the spot.
That's my favorite joke.
And that number can change.
Anyways, all right. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you again here.
Is it this hand? No, it's this hand. This hand is visible. Yeah, it's partly green. When I wave it, I get a little green screen behind.
Technology.
All right.
There we go.
So that was fun.
That was fun. That worked great. That was so. That's your brother that you're talking about inviting on. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nothing like you.
No, he's there. Actually, there's nobody like him.
I don't know. We were keeping up pretty good with each other.
Oh, yeah, no, it was good. I actually, to be honest, I hesitated because I thought the potential could be a total disaster. I mean, I'm just an interrupter. Sometimes he goes on way beyond that. Okay.
He found that groove. We just need to adjust his microphone a little bit, but he found the groove and fit right in. That was great there. Yeah. No, definitely. Next time he interrupts you on the phone during a show, tell him, hey, get in front of a computer. What do you call me for?
Well, in fact, when he called earlier, I had told him that I sent him the link.
Mm.
And then he calls. It's like, was there something about this that you didn't know? You know, whatever.
Maybe he didn't know you didn't have a phone patch. You just patch him right in on the mixing board there on the phone.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah, not happening.
So, anyways, let's see other programming gripes I've had this week and see if you could either agree with me or defend them or So the Twitter app, like I said, it unpins itself, which I get that. It's if it's gonna do an uninstall, reinstall type of thing, it's a new app, so it's not pinned. But couldn't a programmer program if the old version is pinned, then do this to pin the new version? I mean, wouldn't that be
or update the
keep the shortcut and update it
on the pin on the pinned thing so it's still there.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm justified in saying fuck programmers of that one then, I think.
But then you kind of go, okay, which programmer was it? Was it the guy that did the app for the Twitter? Or was it, the bonehead that did the whole menu system and how the pinning works and all that kind of crap?
Ultimately, whoever's programming the Twitter app is responsible for making it work with the systems that are made available to them. So, they can point fingers and gripe at the way Windows does things when the cows come home. And I'll be right there with them also griping, because mind you, half of my gripes are about
Or
Windows.
is a whole different team that actually does that built the installation code.
But ultimately, they're programming the program to do now, it's one thing if Twitter was repinning and then Microsoft changed something that breaks that program, but then they got to patch that. So it can't keep doing that for long, otherwise... All right, here's another one.
My gripe is with iOS is so like this thing is it's an old iPad. It's stuck on iOS 10. Well, they're on 14?
Okay, yeah,
I think.
Oh yeah. Oh, there
are programs that will not work on 10. You have to be on, at least 12 or something like that.
Right. And that's the one that I found out that you have to have already installed the program in order to install an older version of a program from a cloud-based install. And so that's why I, was able to get YouTube working on my old iPad by borrowing this low battery trashed iPhone from work and signing in with my iCloud account, installing YouTube on here, and then YouTube shows up as my installed programs, and from there it will install the last used version.
Yeah.
Whereas from the
store, it wouldn't find. Yeah.
The store says you can't use the newest version. Fuck you. But the installed apps menu will install an older version. What's up with that?
Now the interesting thing is that this bad boy stopped being able to download YouTube.
Huh.
So I just deleted it, and I was using the browser,
right,
for YouTube, which sucks, right? But when you want to YouTube in fact, I got a notification from YouTube, and then months later, I tried installing it again, and then it worked.
Here's the other thing: the Twitter app in Windows, the new version always defaults to Edge instead of defaulting to whatever the default browser is set to.
Suck.
Now, it didn't used to do that. Last week's update started doing that because Chrome's my default browser, and I've triple-checked. Chrome is still my default browser, but anytime I click a link from the Twitter app, it launches an Edge. And I'm like, what the fuck is up with that?
Well, Microsoft is getting stronger and stronger, becoming stronger and stronger Nazis on Edge. They're going to eliminate Internet Explorer entirely.
Has Microsoft... Well, and that I get. And that's okay. Replacing their own operating system with another version of their own operating system, okay.
But
I could still install an older version of 10 or 7. Yeah, well, Edge does. Well, I've not used it enough to judge whether it sucks or not. I don't care. I don't like it. All right.
Well, there are things that are missing. I mean, clear things that are missing.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's how they don't get hacked. Because it doesn't do anything.
It's so secure, only a hacker can use it. Damn you, hacker.
Right.
Sitting over at the desk with his name tag that says hacker. Nope, still not quite worked out that joke. All right, here's another experience I had this past week. So I have a company laptop, but I like to work here from my desk, which is set up with my desktop on my screen. So I remote into my work laptop. I connect that to the VPN. And then if I need to work on a work server, I remote into the server. So I'm on my desktop, remote into my laptop, connected to VPN, remote into a server. So at some point, I need to sign out of that server session. So I bring up the remote session in that server, which is set to go in full screen with the little tab on the top there, letting me know I'm in that server session. I click the menu button. I select the option to sign out. It signed out my laptop session because it brought up the full screen remote session to the server behind the taskbar of my remote session into the laptop.
Fuck.
What's up with that? I mean, Windows taskbars have existed since Windows 95. Windows taskbars technically existed in Windows 1.0. We still we still have not perfected the always on top line of code. We still haven't worked out all the kinks of that one. What are the programmers at Microsoft doing?
Well, they're not reviewing they're not reviewing the old programs. As simple as that.
Yeah. I will say Windows 10, especially on Microsoft Surfaces, is very finicky about screen resizing and resolution changes because we use Microsoft Surfaces in our work environment, and we give everyone a docking station with 2 external monitors, or they work at home with a single external monitor next to the screen. And one of the most common hardware related call I get for a Microsoft Surface is I can't get it to turn on or turn off. The screen is just black and it's doing nothing. And 99% of the time, the answer is hold down the power button longer than you expect you would need to, maybe up to 45 seconds until it forces a restart, because the Surface has gotten stuck in a state that it is still powered on, but it's not outputting video to anything anymore because it's gotten confused between being docked and being undocked.
Yeah.
Another common thing is that, you get a call going, my Outlook bar, something on my Outlook, but that button disappeared there. And you minimize and you maximize the screen, you close it, you reopen it, and it comes back. And it's like, well, what happened? Oh, well, I came back from a meeting, I connected to the dock, I opened up Outlook, and that was gone. And it's like, well, that happened when it resized the window, because the Surface LCD screen, even though it's smaller than their external screens, is a higher resolution screen. It's like 200 something, 2000 something by whatever, whereas the external screens are still 1080p that we use. So it basically has to shrink everything down when going from the built-in screen to the external monitors. And then sometimes it messes that process up and it just makes things disappear, but you close and reopen the app and it comes back.
Incidentally, so the Microsoft Surface has been out quite a while.
Yeah,
I have never used one.
Yeah.
Now that's kind of a hybrid between a notebook and a tablet, right? Basically.
We're using the Microsoft Surface laptops, so they're laptops. They're like thin laptops. It's kind of like a like a MacBook if they were good,
Right.
So,
right. But let me ask you this though: that has a touch screen, correct?
You know what? I think they do, but I tell you, I've had a few laptops with touchscreens, never touched them. Yeah. But yeah, they do.
But I'm curious. I wonder if the touchscreen capability in these is that any good? That's my bottom line question.
Well,
because I can't imagine using Windows with a touchscreen. In fact, sometimes I have these Android tablets, and I kind of go, there is something about these things that are missing. As far as functionality. And actually, one of my big gripes with iOS is, let's say you're on Twitter and you're talking about something, and you kind of go, oh, let me look something up. Who cares? Wikipedia or something else. Find some article. So you're bounced to the other screen that's still there.
Right.
You find your thing. You switch back to Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and the app fucking reboots itself. So where you were is gone.
Huh.
And then you go, okay, where was the thing that I was was in? Oh, especially Facebook. Can you find that post that your best buddy had posted?
Facebook doesn't just show you things in chronological order. It goes in some
absolutely
kind of haphazard, random manner, so you may never find that thing again.
It's in chronological order, but not based on the original post, but based on the last dude that posted on it, and you may not have any idea who that is.
Plus, picks and chooses and filters, and there's algorithms.
Right.
But like,
so wait a minute, you already read that article, especially with articles, an article, a CNN article, whatever. You wanted to post something in the comment field on it, and it goes, oh, well, you already read that CNN article, so we're never going to ever going to show you that again. Fucker.
Yeah. Well, did you know that you may fascinate a woman by giving her a piece of cheese?
You can give a baby a slice of, no. To stop a baby from crying, you can slap a slice of cheese on the forehead.
Oh, I'll have to try that.
Yes. Do you know any crying babies?
Not round here, but
yes.
No, well, but anyways, that was another post from one of my quad friends on Facebook. Posts funny things all the time, and apparently there is a book of spells, charms, and incantations as a section about using spells to help get the ladies. And one of the suggestions on there is you may fascinate a woman by giving her a piece of cheese. So there's your women advice of the day on the show.
Whoa!
So
something learned.
Now, Sparky Toaster Rating and I saw that video, Brian. Oh, is this a video of slapping cheese on a baby?
Yeah. It was on Facebook. Yeah.
That is and Sparky Toaster Rating, cheese on, baby. No. When I read that, that's the inflection I heard. I heard cheese on, baby. I thought he was encouraging you, or encouraging us. But now that I realize that, I think he might be describing the video he saw.
Yes,
that it's cheese on, baby. I like it better.
In fact,
cheese
my
on.
comment on that was,
baby.
Now that actually appeared to be a piece, a slice of Kraft processed.
That's not cheese.
Which is not cheese, exactly.
That's the stuff you use to make grilled cheese. That ain't real cheese.
Right.
Anyways,
my favorite there's that that picture that goes around of a package of Kraft processed. The word cheese is not on there at all.
No, it's a cheese product or cheese food.
No, the word cheese isn't there. It's just Kraft processed slices. No, there's one version. I mean, now it says it's the word cheese, but this one package was, and it could have been photoshopped, where they eliminated the word cheese. Now, apparently, in the European Union, they told Subway, sandwich shop, you cannot call that stuff bread because the sugar content is too high.
Right. It's more like a cake than it is a bread.
Right. Which kind of goes, oh, well, that kind of is a different kind of sandwich.
That is, you know what? That's kind of like the sandwich I made today.
Oh.
Did you like my method of eating healthy?
Oh, yeah, with the fluffer nutter.
Yeah.
Well, I just kind of, after I kind of go, oh, that's fucking disgusting several times, then
that's
I posted
what I was going
the comment.
For. Yeah, that's what I was going for. Oh, it was delicious. It was great.
And I'm glad that you responded with natural equals healthy.
Yes.
From which I expanded. Yes, that's right. Arsenic is natural but not healthy.
Well, you understood I was saying that in jest because
of course. Yeah.
Basically, I typically eat bag salad and that bag chicken strips and some shredded cheddar and salad dressing for lunch every day. My variety is in the dressing. I got a raspberry vinaigrette. I got 1890 French. I got.
So this is a DIY kit.
Yeah. Well,
of things that are packaged.
It's my own kit. I buy a bag of salad. I always buy 2 bags of salad when I go to the grocery store, and I typically get at least 4 salads out of those 2 bags.
Can you imagine in some future they're going to say, "Wow." So broccoli you get as a stalk of green stuff.
Right.
Where lettuce comes in a plastic bag.
But yeah, so I went to bag. Now the problem is that last week when I bought the bag of salad, I got a bag that was a little heavier on the salad than normal. So I got 3 days worth of use out of that bag of salad, and then we had the weekend. So that means that bag number 2 of bag salad was 5 days old by the time I opened it up, which means it was a soggy mess, because you can get more mileage out of a salad if you open it up ahead of time and put it in a Tupperware container lined with paper towels to help absorb the moisture, instead of keeping it in a sealed plastic bag that's just going to keep getting moist. So yeah, I had soggy salad when I went to make my lunch this Monday.
See, now I'm actually wondering. There are some fruits, banana notoriously is the case. And I wonder if it happens to be true with lettuce. You don't want to close it in. So like you bring home your bananas in a plastic bag, maybe. You get home, take them out of the plastic bag and leave them out. Because if you put them in the plastic bag, there's a chemical that bananas put out that increases the browning of it.
Anyways,
so it's like the Starship Enterprise with a self-destruct mechanism.
So I had no salad to make my lunch today, so I had to go to the cabinets and see what we had on hand. And what we had on hand was a loaf of white bread, a jar of peanut butter, a jar of marshmallow fluff. And so I was like, "Oh my God!" There we go. I tried to eat healthy. I gotta
take pictures of it.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was so funny that I went from making a salad to making a fluffernutter. The contrast of health and lack thereof was funny to me. So I had to tweet that. The whole how to eat healthy. Step 1, open the salad, buy bag salad. Step 2, throw out the soggy bag salad. Step 3, look what you have available for an alternate lunch. Step 4, make a fluffernutter. That was my version of eating healthy today. That was my humor.
On the left side there.
Yeah.
Peanut butter, good. Proteins, yay, mama.
Load it with sugar.
But mama, don't choose that brand. What the fuck is that shit?
That's the store brand.
Damn. Choosy mothers choose Jif.
I always get the store brand of peanut butter, and it's always good.
Okay. Of course, you have to figure out, who actually made the store brand, right?
Probably Jif.
Could have been Jif.
Could have been Jif.
Could have been Skippy, which would have been too bad because Skippy sucks.
Here's the thing. When I moved up to Maine, Gothard's mom promoted buying natural peanut butter because she said if you put natural peanut butter in a frying pan versus putting processed peanut butter in a frying pan, it reacts differently. And so I'm like, oh, that's great. I will be. And so I thought, oh, this is going to be, if like the peanut butter I grew up with so good, natural peanut butter is going to be so much better. And I got to tell you, not a fan of the natural peanut butter. No, I want my
it comes
gooey,
it
sugar-loaded, artificial, peanut buttery goodness. I live for that.
With any product, it comes down to the brand.
I tell you, if I didn't have bread,
the brand that you like. Okay, we use Jif. We tried their natural. Oh, we like their natural, so we're buying that now.
Well, anyways, I tell you, I love me some store brand peanut butter. If we didn't have a loaf of bread and we didn't have marshmallow fluff, I still would have had a lunch today. Because just get me that jar of peanut butter and a spoon, and I'm set.
Yeah. Candy if you have crackers or something else. Candy if you have celery, that works.
Or cheese on, baby, with your peanut butter.
Cheese on. That's right.
Cheese on. Get the peanut butter on the cheese, roll it up, and you got your Kraft Single and your store brand peanut butter, and there's lunch. I would never do that. By the way, I would never do that. Like I said, processed cheese food is good for one thing and one thing only: grilled cheese. For everything else, you need real cheese. Anyways. On that note, though, I think we have reached yet again.
We've come to the end.
We've come to the end of another fun-filled edition of
Insert Title here.
But we do try to be educational here.
Educational.
So, Brian, what have you learned here?
I learned that sometimes the help desk guy doesn't appreciate the effort that the programmer put into it. Of course, if the programmer didn't put any effort in it, and what he delivered sucks, well, there we go, right? There we go.
Well,
we got a problem, Houston.
I learned that in order to dress yourself properly in the morning, you need to mark your underwear with a marker, and you need to have your clothes laid out for you, or you would wear
absolutely
like an orange T-shirt with blue shorts.
Oh, by the way, have you watched the sci-fi series Orville?
I've not seen that yet.
Yeah, that's on Hulu.
Yeah.
We watched the first like 3 episodes.
That's like Star Trek with Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah. The first particular episode in particular, boy, that sucks. Oh my God. But we did say, hey, with a new series, you got to try at least a few episodes.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it went a little bit better, but at that time I was probably already numb to the stupid joke because it is a comedy.
Yeah.
It's not trying to be serious science fiction. That's the problem. The start off is,
right.
The lead character comes on. He's given a ship. He's a drunk. He's an idiot. Okay, already the demographic and the stupid jokes.
Right.
So the demographic for the show is 12-year-old alcoholic slackers.
Okay.
Well,
but
it did seem to get better. But then again, I may have been just numb to the series. I don't know if I'll go back and watch any more of it or not.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll take that any day over Mystery of Oak Island. And on that note, Sparky
Oak
Toaster. Nope.
Oak Island is done for the season.
Goodbye. No renew. Sparky Toaster.
Yeah. No, they're making money on it.
They have more wood to find?
Absolutely. And they're going to do the big dig next year.
As opposed to
big dig, not just drill a little hole.
They're going to put I-93 under the island.
That's correct.
Okay. Sparky Toaster.
Hey, you know what they're going to do? They're going to call Elon Musk in and use his boring technology.
Yeah, that is boring. Sparky Toaster writes in, I learned the guy on Cam 3 needs a new mic. We'll see what we can do about that. He had that Bluetooth headset he was holding up. Maybe we could get him to play with that on pre-show next time.
It seemed to be a little bit overmodulated, right?
His levels are hot.
Yeah, hot as hell. Yeah,
that was called distortion,
and that's a Bluetooth device. So where does that get adjusted?
No. He showed us a Bluetooth device, but I think he was using the built-in microphone on his laptop. Well,
I thought it was a microphone and a headphone.
I thought he just had separate AKG headphones. Okay. He showed us.
Okay. We'll ask him and we'll help him dial in.
Yeah. Anyways, we're gonna go raid Existence 130 is what we're gonna do because we love.
Excellent. That's one of my favorite. My favorite peoples. Yeah.
Yeah. So my apologies on the mic distortion, but I find that if it's understandable, it's better to go with the flow than to
just go with it. Yeah.
Turn it into a half hour of troubleshooting. Which, I might lose viewers for the bad mic, but then again, I might lose viewers for the half hours of troubleshooting. So anyways, tell Existence 130 we said hi, and thank you all, and we'll be back here next week, same time, same place, different mic, maybe. And
all right, Oxy and Sparky, and if Dune is still around.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching us.
And good night. And we've raided.
All right.
How's it going?
Yeah, thank you, One and Dennis. It's gonna hopefully get a little bit better.
All right. Oh, I got a notification on Twitch. Sir Mars wrote that I eat apple seeds all the time. Oh, response to the arsenic.
Are you left?
Yes.
Are you left-handed?
Lord Helmet.
All right. Well, hey, that was fun. That worked out great.
Shout out to Johnny. Oh my gosh.
Good night.
Nice to see you, dude.
All right, we'll see you.
Yeah, catch you next week.
You betcha.
Or on the Twitters.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude. Hope your stream went well.